Okay, so welcome to part 5, the finale to What If Deku Was a Villain. This might actually be the shortest part because I'm keeping it short and sweet because I've been gone for a really long time. So let's cut to the chase. After his fight with Kachan, Deku went back to the villain base and he was steaming because he couldn't get his revenge. After all these years, he waited for this moment and he couldn't kill him. He was too soft, he thought to himself, but he knew that he had to finish the job off one way or another. So in the dead of night, he snuck back onto campus, but he didn't want to kill Kachan with a knife or a gun that was good for him. So we kidnapped him and he snuck him back to the base. And when Kachan awoke the next morning, he was in a coliseum, and Deku was sitting there in a pristine white shirt, just with gloves on. And Kachan was like, "What the hell are you doing, Deku? Why am I here?" And he takes off the gloves. And as his gathered up team of villains was about to just kill him on the spot, he puts a hand out like, "No, I want this one." He walks over to his childhood bully, the man who caused him so much pain and grief in his life, and he grabbed him by the throat. Just picture that. Such sweet justice for Deku. Grabbed him by the throat, and he put a little pressure on it, a little fire too. It was burning his neck, and he was like, "This, this is where you die." In that moment, the man who fears no other man except his mother was scared. He gave Kachan his hero gear. He said, "This is going to be a fair fight. So I intend to give you my all, but I don't want you holding back." He tosses him his hero gear, and he puts on, and Izuku just puts on his gloves and his suit. The suit has some tricks, as you obviously know, but whatever. So they start. I'm just picturing this scene in my head. I'm such a fanboy, but seriously, just picture that. Two of them just giving each other a stare down on the battlefield. Kachan, ever the impulsive one, blasts forward, both of his hands behind him, propelling him like if they were rockets. And he came in for a kick to the side of his head, Deku ducking down, punching him in his back. The blonde berserker didn't feel it for a second. He used his other hand, torpedoing around, going for the same move again. This time Deku ducked again, but using little cannons on his gloves. The cannons, they have special features, but for this one feature, Deku decided to shoot highly pressurized beams of water at him, and the pressurized water shoots him into the air. Deku uses this as his chance, and he blasts into him just like a stream of flame. Like, I don't know if you watch Avatar or something, but it's something like straight out of Avatar. So he stands there, he clenches his fist, and then he just makes a punching motion at him. Then just black flame shoots out of the ground directly at Kachan. Now, any normal person would be quite impressed with the fact that they've just gotten revenge on their childhood bully, but he wants this guy dead. So the black flame catches his clothes, and then he just shrugs it off like it's just a little fire, it won't hurt, and he blasts himself directly back at Deku. He's not playing games this time. Instead of going in for a kick, he just pulls the cord on one of his grenadine braces and he blasts him. And mind you, alright, just pretend. Okay, fine. Let me explain. They've had 3 days off, a 3-day weekend off of school. But they've also been practicing with their hero gear on campus. So he has been practicing with his grenadine braces and they've been absorbing his sweat for 3 days. So when I say that explosion was massive, I'm saying that it tore with just the flames itself burned, singed this guy's shirt top half off. So now he has This top half is gone except the gloves because they're made special. A special actually the shirt too. The shirt and his gloves, but the jacket is just gone. And he's like, "What the hell? That should have burned him back to hell." He gets really angry. He clenches his teeth and he's like, "I'm gonna kill this bastard." And he uses one of his hands, propelling him, punching into Deku. Now, mind you, Deku hasn't lost his cool yet. And then Deku touches his bloody nose, and he's like, "Shit." He's acting serious. He let out a contented sigh. He looked Kachan directly in the face and he said, "I'm not playing, and this isn't a game anymore. You're gonna die here, and you better make peace with that, because for once in your life, there's someone more talented than you." He whispered this. None of his men could hear him. Not even All For One, looking at him with a contented... No, everyone except for All For One, looking at this man, looking at him with a contented sigh. But Deku there, taking care of the only one thing left he had to do before turning on Yue. He knew All For One was scheming in the back of his head. He knew he had to get rid of Ochako, one way or another. Back to the fight. Oh my god. So, Deku just finally starts to get a little bit serious. He charges in, punches him in the stomach, jumps up, slamming his leg directly into Kachan's head. Before he could even react, all his men sees the guy, Kachan, landing on his stomach, spitting up blood. Deku's not finished with him. While he's in the air, taking a page out of Kachan's book, he boosts himself back to the ground using his fire, right? Like an actual rocket. And then he stomped his head in. Now, because of the damage from the head stomp, one of his eyes got punctured. So he can't see one of his eyes now. Kachan is done playing games, and he knees Izuku in the face. And remember he said his knee pads were there to murder with his knees? It pierces his lip. And not his lip, like the side of his mouth. So now, there's a little bit of a cut right there. So it's bleeding out, because he hit a vein in his face. So now, Kachan is not satisfied. He jumps back up and spin kicks Deku down, sending him flat on his face. Then, taking a play out of Deku's book, he boosts himself down, going in for a curb stomp. But Deku was waiting. He grabs his leg, slams it into the ground. Then he grabs his neck from behind, driving it back, only to slam his leg into the guy's chest. Remind you, Kachan is still only human, and though he tries to act like he's descended, he's above humanity, he's still just like everybody else. So the act of doing that messed him up pretty bad. So he doesn't know what to do. He has no idea what's left. He tried the Grenadier Embracer. He tried murdering with his knees. So he sees Deku's men, and instead of trying to fight the boss head on, he kicks Deku in the knee, I should say, causing him to fall down. Taking this as an opportunity, he boosts himself out of there, and Deku starts grinding his teeth like, "That bastard, he better not be running away from me." He never let me run away. He never let me leave, as he beat me senseless. So he jumps into one of Deku's men, kicking him in the stomach and taking his katana. Kachan boosts back to Deku, coming in, throwing the katana at him. But Kachan is actually thinking tactically for once. Deku dodges that, and he gets into position. Kachan shoots himself up into the air, causing an AP shot. What the hell? It's probably my neighbor. Causing an AP shot. So, as he's spinning in, he crashes directly onto Deku, who, because he dodged, he's like, his knee is still a bit janky from when Kachan kicked him into it, and so he's on his back. So Kachan uses the AP shot and drills directly into his stomach, slamming him into the ground. At this point, they're bleeding pretty bad. But if anything goes sideways, Deku has two things going for him. His men can kill Kachan like that. As that he has that, and All For One can bring him back to life. So he's not worried about losing this fight. Kachan should be worried. They're far from UA. Especially the fact that how he's losing blood, and he has 3 cracked ribs from the barrage of punches and then the curbs. He's messed up. So Deku picks up the katana, not wasting any time, and he starts slashing at him. But Deku doesn't know how to use weapons. He's a brawler. And then he had an idea. Well, this is an idea he'd had for months now, but he just didn't let the people at UA know that that's how he was doing things from now on. He's incorporating his fire into his martial arts to make it more effective. So he stands up and he's like, Kachan, let's just have a no holds barred. No braces, no katanas, no tricks. Okay? And he's like, damn right, you damn nerd. And he punches him in the face. And he keeps doing that back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. Then Deku, he has a swollen eye now. He takes his hand, he opens his swollen eye, and he just stares him down. And in that moment, he froze. Just for a millisecond. Because of the pure... He could just see the bloodlust. Even his men was taken back. Even Shigaraki watching inside their base with All For One was just like, damn, he is gonna kill him. Well, not that black, Not to say I'm just saying, not that ghetto, but he's like, sucks to be him. Just saying. So, he punches Kachan in the gut and then punches him in the shoulder. Kachan's trying to act like the strong man, pretending he don't feel it, but that hurt. So Deku's like, oh, I'm sorry my punches don't hurt. How about now? And then he socked this man in his jaw. Because of the fire, it burned the top of his jaw. And then he backhanded him. Forehand, backhand, He's just slapping this man up in his face like, psh, 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 psh. And then he fell down. And then he fell down. Deku wasn't finished with him yet. He's not gonna let him die like that. So he takes his glove. Kachan, when he punched him in the shoulder, he dislocated his shoulder. He doesn't even care. At this point, he's so focused on killing this guy, he doesn't feel anything. Anything. Okay? Okay. So, he raises up his hand. And he lets it on fire and brings it an inch away from his face. And then he decides that's too good for him. He takes the glove off of his hand, bites it off, using his one good hand. This is for what you did to me. This is for ruining my childhood. This is for bullying me. This is for ruining my life. And this is because I hate you. His hand now covered in Katsuki Bakugo's blood. He asks the man to give him the katana. He takes the blade and he thrusts it into his heart. Then he lights his hand on fire. And he says to this man something that he said to those men all those years ago. That's something I didn't want you guys to know until now. He said to them, my life was happy once, but you're the reason that it all changed. And I know you're probably like, wow, a 6-year-old will not be talking this profusely. Stretch of imagination. This is a world where people look like toads. Like, just go with it, okay? And then his finger's on fire, and he's like, well, this one's just especially for Kasha. See you in hell, my friend. And then he like flicks his thumb at him, shooting a little bit of fire at him, and his body catches on fire. His badly gashed up face. You want to hear the actual truth? Deku asked for an extra quirk. What? Bum bum bum. He did. It's pain resistance. That's why when Kachan fell down, just because his body, he had taken so many, his cracked ribs were puncturing organs inside of him. And he was gonna die either way. So, he fell down. And Deku took advantage, beating him to death. Deku, believe it or not, Kachan broke this man's knee, cracked 2 ribs, and dislocated his shoulder. And his elbow is, like, his arm from his elbow down is completely shattered. All for One is gonna have to heal him with his healing quirk that he definitely has because he has almost every fucking quirk. Just saying. But anyway, so he walks off and he holds his hand up high. And Ochako just looks at him. She doesn't know what to say. He accomplished something that he's wanted to do for years. And then he fell down. Like, boom. He wakes up a couple of hours later with his hand bandaged up. And, with his hand bandaged up, his leg bandaged up. Basically, he's out of commission for a while. This is gonna seriously put him out of commission for a while. So, I have no idea what to do. So, fast forward after All Might and All for One battle. Except Deku's not there and Kachan is dead. So a lot of the people who they saved, like Ida and stuff, because of Deku's full cowling, they're dead. They're fucking dead. I'm sorry, but it's true. They're dead. Anyway, okay, so fast forward, All for One is in jail. However, what they could only bind him for powers that they didn't know. And he had one specific power that he refused to use because at the time he didn't think it was useful. Telepathy. So, as he communicated with a fully healed Deku, who they thought had died in the freak explosion after they were training, he explained to Deku, you have to break me out of here. And I'm not gonna make it, kid. You need to be the next generation of villains to take the world. The world won't burn. The world will submit to you. But you have to get me out of here. Deku was like, okay, father. He assembled his team and all of the League of Villains. And this time, when Overhaul tried to come and mess with the villains, Deku just flamed his ass, put him on the fucking news. By the time Mr. Compress had gotten his... Oh, spoiler alert. But, spoiler. By the time Mr. Compress got his arm blown off, it was not playtime. This nigga Deku just touched the ground, and just a spire of flames rippled through Overhaul as his body caught on fire. His team bursted in, and Deku wasted no time, filleting the big guy who burst in at first. Then Shigaraki just took out the rest. Okay, so the breakout. I got this. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. Okay, so... I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous. Okay, so the breakout. The villains are fighting the security guards and pro heroes. Muriel is there. And on the battlefield, there's the new number 2 hero. And his name is Deku. As Deku zeeks through the battle, he meets up with an old friend and also rival, Monoma. He charges at Deku. Deku just catches this nuisance, as he thinks, in his head, burning his face, killing him instantly. He jumped back so that the blood would not catch on his white over jacket. You know, the one that was in the picture before. So he's like wearing the white thing on his shoulders, not on his shoulders, and he bursts into the prison. The guards come in and he just blasts them back. And as he makes his way to All for One cell, Mirio stands in front of him and he's like, You're that spunky little kid in class 1A. And Deku just looks at him. I'm not a kid! And then just as he blasted at Mirio phased through, but Deku was planning for this. So, because he can see, hear, touch, taste, he can't use any of his senses and he can't breathe, he's shooting a continuous stream of his powers at him. But he can also, now, because of the boost from All for One, he can see. And he can hear, but he still can't breathe. He has his senses, but he still cannot breathe when he's phased, because I make him too OP. So he just keeps shooting a continuous stream, and it's starting to strain. His vein on his hand the blood in his hand is starting to boil a little. But he keeps blasting out a stream of it, and eventually Mirio has to unphase. So he jumps up, he sinks into the ground. But Deku was waiting for this. When he deactivates his quirk and gets shot up, he blasted Mirio in the chest, shooting him into a wall. Into a wall. He's only going to be down for a couple seconds, but that's all Deku needs. He shoots the frame of All for One cell, freeing him. You came for me, kid. It's time. They lock hands. You know, and Deku is like, and he gives Deku his quirk. You're welcome. And as soon as the quirk is passed to Deku, Shigaraki bursts in and he charges at Deku saying, "It should have been mine!" He tried to punch Deku, trying to grab him, and Deku, now with his just super OP quirk, Dabi and Toga walk in. Toga's like, "Deku-kun," and tries to kiss him. He just fillets her ass, just burns her up. Then Dabi's like, "What the hell?" Well, he doesn't say what the hell. He's just surprised that he would do that to someone on his side. So he jumps at him, ready to cremate him, and he just takes Dabi's quirk, kicks him in the stomach, and using a strength quirk and the physical augmentation quirk, changes his hand to make it super buff and slams him through the roof, which is a floor because they're underground, I assume. Anyway, so now he has Dabi's cremation quirk. Mirio just charges back at him, but Deku knows that all he has to do is touch Mirio to take his quirk. Mirio was unaware of the quirk transfer and still thinks that he has his fire quirk. So Deku is ready, So he shoots a stream of black fire at him. His blood starts to boil more and more. It's like if he continues this up, he might pass out. But Mirio, he zeeks under the floor, pops up behind him, and then Deku waits for him, augments his elbow into a blade, and stabs Mirio in the chest. Before he could activate his quirk, he slams him into the ground. And then, he takes a quirk that fuses things together and he fuses him to the ground. So if Mirio uses his quirk, the whole ground is going to become intangible, which means that would allow Deku to escape because all he has to do is use another quirk, like the physical augmentation quirk, to turn his hand into a drill or something, you know? Anyway, so Mirio is scared because he doesn't know what's gonna happen. So he takes Mario's quirk and he turns his hand into a blade and he kills him. Deku's just uses he can use multiple quirks at the same time. He uses a flight quirk and he uses Mario's quirk and he flies directly through the roof on top to be on top of the prison. And then he turns his hand into like a bullhorn and he says to everyone, I am the new #1 villain. I have the power of All for One. Now you shall tremble before me or die. Mario, your candidate for #1 has been taken out. And Sun Eater just uses his octopus hand, pops up, is about to punch him, and Deku just catches him, and then he rubs his chin like, interesting quirk, grabs his hand, flips him down, snaps his hand, and takes his quirk. After that display, a lot of the heroes are scared. They don't know what to do because he just took out 2 of the big 3 of My Hero just in conjunction of each other. If he can do all of that, even with the combined might of all of them, especially with All Might gone and One for All destroyed because it died, actually, he has One for All now. So actually, he can't take One for All. So One for All does die with Mario. So he's fucked. They're fucked either way, man. Because he took out 2 of the big 3 all at the same time. Oh, sorry. I just washed my hand because I accidentally put my hand in motion. Okay, look. Don't worry about it. Okay, so everybody's freaking out. They don't know what to do. Oh my god, he just killed Mario. Oh my god, he just killed Sun Eater. Well, he didn't kill Sun Eater, but those low-level thugs are beating on his battered body. So he's dead. Everyone bows down to him. No, Chaco is on top of the building with him, looking over their kingdom. But All for One is still barely alive. The quirk transfer took a lot out of him. So he took a shank that someone made in prison, and he stabs Ochako in her heart from the back. And she just falls to her knees, and Izuku looks at him, his adoptive father, killing the one thing that kept him anchored to his humanity. And he lost it. His green eyes turned red with bloodlust. And he looked at the man, and he looked at him, and for the one time in his life, he was scared. He turned his whole hand. He used his quirk augmentation card to make his hand colossal, and then made his knuckles blades, and he killed him with one punch. Then he augments both of his hands, and then he just stares down everyone on the battlefield, and everyone gets a chill run up their spine. And he says, anyone who opposes me will die. Anyone who tries to suck up to me will die. I am the king now. Anyone who dares to stand in my way will be made an example of. I am everything. Fear me. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and I will be the greatest villain to ever live, and no hero will ever oppose me. And with that, all the heroes stop fighting the villains. They are all trying to use their combined might to take this guy down. If he dies here and today, no evil will ever rise in the world again. But they think he's just not even playing games anymore. He mixes his quirk, Dabi's cremation quirk, and Bakugo's quirk. Yes, All for One took his quirk, cause who wouldn't? Now all of these quirks mix together, and it turns into like just this nasty black beam, and then he holds that power in his hand, and he looks at it with a twisted, sick smirk. Twice it jumps up there, and then for the first time ever, he's like, "We gotta retreat," and he's scared shitless. Deku kicks him and knees him in his face, and before he drops him off the building, he steals his quirk. And then Deku, still holding that disgusting, powerful energy in his hand, he uses twice his quirk, makes 20 versions of himself, and uses his mind control quirk to control all of them, and he disperses them on the battlefield. They kill everybody. The only person left is Sun Eater. He's still alive. Yeah. He killed 3 prisoners. They didn't have quirks, but he killed them. And he said, "I'm not gonna die now. Not now." Deku just blasts him. Now he stands with his army of hymns. All the villains, even the villains were scared of what this guy does. He's mentally unstable. He killed his mentor, and the woman he loved was killed in front of him. And his reign continued for many years to come. He never had kids, but he didn't need to because he was incapable of dying. He actually stole the quirk of someone who could manipulate time. No, Aries. He stole Aries' quirk. And he just kept, every time he started to feel old age coming on, he rewinded his body back to like when he was in his 20s. Rewind. And he did that for centuries. The age of heroes was long gone. The age of villains failed too. Because villains thought under the leadership of a great and powerful villain king, they would thrive. But Deku, he just spent his time secluded in his base. All of his allies were dead. He killed them with his own hands because he didn't know who could be trusted. And now, the Age of Heroes is starting up again. But no one's smart enough to fight the great villain king that is Deku. So he sits in his village on top of a mountain overlooking New Japan, knowing that no one down there, their crime rate was actually 100. Their crime rate was actually 0.1%. No one dared to stand up against the Hero King, or as he proclaimed himself. And he tried to step up to Deku once. Deku made him into an example and killed him ever so slowly in front of his fan base. After that, Deku just grew bored. No one could challenge his power because he had all the power. And anyone who tried to, he killed them within seconds. So after a lifetime of death and famine, he let himself die. To make this short, it ended up long. Oh well. So anyway, that's the end of What If Deku Was a Villain. He got All For One's power. He killed it. He had everything and he lost everything in a moment. You know, this is like to tell you, like, look at him. He lost his mom. He gained power. He got family and a girlfriend. And he lost both in the day because his father turned on him. So that, folks, is the story of Villain Deku. I hope this series was at least maybe decent. This is my first series on my channel. And look, I record with a phone. I know I need to get better, but first I need my own computer. Then I need a mic before I can start saying, okay, now let's move on to higher quality stuff. I know maybe talking at the end of my video is kind of boring and some people probably click off, but if you guys want anything like Q&A, you want to give me ideas, but I already have, I'm working on Raijin, and I'm starting a new Deku series. This time he's not going to be a bad guy. Don't worry, guys. I'm not using the same old tired cliche every video. But I'm just going to say, for all those who stayed till the end, I don't know if y'all know about One Piece, but our man Deku, he is going to have the powers from the Gum fruit. Just saying. It might drop tomorrow, might drop Thursday, might drop Friday. we'll see what goes. But I'm really glad that I updated and did a what if because I haven't known it forever, and I feel super guilty for leaving all of whoever's watching this for the sake of watching this series on a cliffhanger. I gotta do Raijin tomorrow,